Saying it. I keep saying it. I keep saying it. One of these days we just gonna go on live. I think after the algorithmic live, we're gonna do a live stream where we just bounty hunt. You know what I mean? Try to make 5 bands, make it a goal. But this is the number one reason you're not finding any bugs when you're on that. Let's go.
If I had $1 for every beginner hacker who thinks the reason they're not finding bugs is because they don't have the right Burp Suite extension, I'd be rich enough to buy my own 0 day and call it a day. No, seriously, I've seen
Leave below. What's a 0 day? I heard that a couple times, but now I'm trying to narrow it down to vulnerabilities that like you know how you have day one vulnerabilities that come out on the day one, maybe vulnerabilities that come out, immediately after a launch or some shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Just let me know if I'm right, if I'm wrong. First guess, first crack at it.
people write 500-line bash scripts to automate recon and then completely forget to even look at the web app. It's wild. Everyone's out here treating hacking like a magic ritual, as if installing Subfinder, Amass, and HTTPX in a specific moon phase is going to suddenly birth an RCE out of thin air. And when it doesn't work, they blame the tools, or the target, or the weather. Here's the thing no one tells you: the reason you're not finding bugs. It's not because you're not smart enough, it's because your workflow is trash. And I say that with love, because mine used to be too. Nothing made sense. Nothing led anywhere. I was generating data, not intel. And the worst part? I thought I was making progress. I had folders, I had scans, I had screenshots, I had notes. But what I didn't have was a single bug. I started to believe I just wasn't cut out for this. Maybe I needed to study more, watch more YouTube tutorials, learn another burp plugin. Maybe there was a tool I hadn't installed yet. That's the trap. That's the lie. Let me break something to you. Hacking is not a tool problem. It's a thinking problem.
Yeah, and I know you guys think I'm, 9 times out of 10 reacting to things, but nah. Sometimes I look at the videos, see if my thinking is off. I'm doing an active 21-day subathon where I'm making an algorithmic bot. After that subathon, it'll probably be way, 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 way shorter to make that, so I won't need to do a subathon for a bot. But the thinking process during these 21 days have been fucking hard as hell. You know what I mean? Like trying to understand what the people want, what they need, what type of like stuff do I need, then regurgitating it into AI, realizing AI isn't gonna do shit but confuse me more. Looking at tutorial hell, realizing I'm running into the same tools and issues that the tutorials are running into, and there's no solutions because the tutorials are half-assed. Yeah, your YouTube viewers are fucked up, dog. So I'm just doing a live stream about the subathons and the process, and these 21 days have been hard. So it's never an issue about what tools you're using. It's an issue about how you're thinking about it, and you're not thinking it through properly. Like 100% of the time, you're not thinking it through. It may be annoying, but it's a blessing when you think about it, because that 1% means you're not working at all.
You can't automate intuition, you can't word list your way to creativity, and you definitely can't find bugs by clicking around aimlessly hoping Burp Suite burps out a bounty. The problem isn't your toolkit, it's your mental model. Most beginner hackers are operating on vibes. They're scanning domains without knowing what to do with the results. They're fuzzing random parameters, hoping one of them spills secrets. It's like walking into a library, flipping to a random page, and hoping it tells you where the treasure is buried. One day, after yet another week of dry targets and zero findings, I stumbled into a private Discord server. I won't say who was in there, but let's just say they didn't think like the rest of Twitter. These people weren't talking about tools, they were talking about tactics, workflows, attack surface logic. One guy said something that broke my brain. I don't scan for subdomains, I scan for value. I sat there like, what the hell does that mean? But the more I watched, the more it made sense. These people weren't guessing, they were mapping, strategizing. Their recon wasn't passive, it was investigative. They'd start from a target's business model, not its DNS records. They'd ask, what data do they care about? And where would that data logically flow through this app? That's when I realized I was playing a different game.
Yo, hold on. I gotta screenshot that. Let me just screenshot that because tell y'all after. The reason I screenshotted that is because nine times out of ten when I'm working with my friend, my very close friend, dog, and he works with me here, but he is always making sure I understand what it is to be an IT dog. And you have to almost you have to be reverse engineering every day. Like you kind of have to know where the end was so you can understand how it started. and then backtrack. Like you gotta understand it. And if you don't, then you social engineer things that you don't, which is why I wanted to screenshot it, because that's the whole process of being a pen tester too at the same time,
game, and I
or
was
hacker.
losing. I went back to my recon process and nuked it. Gone were the endless bash one liners. Instead, I built a workflow, yes, a literal visual map, of how I approach targets. Enumeration came after asking the right questions. Passive re of how I approach targets. Enumeration came after asking the right questions. Passive recon became guided recon. Enumeration. Instead, I built a workflow, yes, a literal visual map, of how I approach targets. Enumeration came after asking the right questions. Passive recon became guided recon. Every tool had a job, and every result had a next step. I wasn't just collecting data, I was building a case. And suddenly bugs started to appear. Like they were always there, I just wasn't tuned in. There was this one target. Looked boring on the surface. Everyone said it was picked clean, but I noticed a pattern in their subdomain naming. Something subtle. Led me to a dev instance with an exposed Swagger spec. That spec pointed to an endpoint no one had ever mentioned. It had broken auth checks buried under feature flags, chained it with a misconfigured redirect, and boom, full account takeover. Not because I ran some secret scanner, but because I thought differently. It's not about how many tools you run. It's about how well you understand the system you're breaking into. And let's be honest, most of you are so focused on building bigger recon stacks that you never stop to ask if you're even pointing them in the right direction. So let me say something that might sting a little.
Nah, that's dope. The fact that not like it's like programming. People be like, "Yo, what's the best language to use?" It's not about the language, cause it's about how you're gonna solve the problem with the language you're choosing. If you choose Python and the motherfucker need a front end web development site, I mean, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Python do got some front end shit. Don't get me wrong. But if the motherfucker says something that's on a JavaScript uh resource library at you, he send you some NC shaders and shit like that, JS library or NPM library, what the fuck you gonna tell him? Oh no, I can't do it. It has to be a Python library. Like, come on. Like you sometimes you have to morph yourself into doing things with what industry standard is and what the client wants. It's not gonna be what your favorite language is all the time. Just solve a problem.
Little. If you're still watching recon tutorials every week, you're probably stuck. If your workflow is just a slightly modified version of some GitHub repo with cool ASCII art, you're probably stuck. If you've been hacking for a year and still don't know how to explain why a bug actually worked, you're not learning, you're consuming. You need to stop hacking like a consumer and start hacking like an investigator, like someone who asks questions and follows leads, not someone who runs a tool and hopes. The best hackers I know, they don't watch tutorials anymore. They don't need to, because their learning isn't passive, it's practical. They break things, reflect, and refine. Now, I'm not saying I'm some elite hacker sitting on a throne of zero.
Yeah, I'm not I was gonna say that too. Like on the flip side, like I don't want to sit here and say I don't look at programming tutorials, but you can go on my live stream. And for the past 21 days, I looked at one video, ran into one issue, used the AI to help me build the issue out, ran into another issue, and I'm consciously, like you're actively watching me live, just pivot, 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 pivot. So this is a shout out to everyone who's actually doing this developer work or just embarking in this technological field. Um, keep on grinding and make sure that you're actually providing value to yourself, not just like looking at it and thinking that the trend is gonna get you another 100K views and understand it. Trends never work. You'll be better off reading a Yo, you know how you know it's serious? I'm reading documentation now. Like you can actively look, and I'm reading the documentation for API key. I would have never done that a couple years ago had I not embarked on a journey to just upgrade my thinking, not even upgrade my tools. Like I tried Claude Pro. I have Claude Pro now, GPT Pro, Replit Pro, Colabs Pro, like you name it, I had it. It just wasn't helping me at one point. And then I was like, yo, look, if it's not helping me, I might as well just sit down and learn it and figure it out. And then I started my first project, which was a movie application built on Next.js and Superbase. But that was the end result. Before that, nigga, I was trying to make it on PostgreSQL to bypass the I said Samsung, the Amazon storage based issues. Couldn't figure it out, ran into SQL issues, then realized that I had to open my port to allow people to connect to my computer. And I just don't have a computer for that. So I was like, all right, next. Then I had to fucking figure out how I was going to implement IPFS because I wanted it to be all crypto. All that to say, you're going to go on a rabbit hole on every project you do already. The same case study he performs is the same case study you should perform. So what are you guys waiting for? Like, comment, subscribe, man, and go check out Cyberflow and his course. It's always the best out here.